Good afternoon, y'all. This is the Apoth Green. Happy Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever day it happens to be for you, because it doesn't really matter, as this reading is timeless and it will find you when it is meant for you. However, if it doesn't fit, please just let it sit and let it marinate for those who need it. With that being said, thank you for not only showing up for me today, but for showing up for yourselves on this healing journey. I know that it is not easy, and I am damn proud of you. Your guides are proud of you. Your deities are proud of you. Like, you're doing the damn thing, and I hope you're proud of yourself too. Alright, let's jump in. It's been a bit since I've done a reading. I think the last reading I released was back in May. And it is now, the 12th? Yes, it is now June 12th. So since then, I have been seeing quite a few angel numbers. I've seen 999, 1111, 1313, 1212, 0707, 111, and we'll kind of group that with 1111. And I've also seen 222. And I've also seen 555 a few times. But with 555 in particular, I don't have much to say this week about 555. In fact, I am going to refer you to last message to get information about 555, because it's more so just kind of like a recap of changes to come. I feel like this is definitely, this reading this week is definitely going to focus on some other changes. However, I also kind of want to ground us within the present and kind of work on some things that, those loose ends that may need to be tied up before getting to the future, right? So let's reel it back. Let's get back to the present and let's jump right in. So let's talk about 999. So as we know, 9 is related to Mars, and Mars governs Aries. However, it is exalted in Pluto. So with that, it is definitely time to focus on tying up the loose ends, as we were just talking about, right? So, in other words, what do you need to release in order to move forward? This is definitely your time to confront your emotions, that individual, and all that you've been avoiding. This is also going to correlate with the beginnings that we were talking about that are going to be coming in September. So another talking point is, in terms of passive-aggressive behavior, it is very apparent that this is contagious, okay? However, happiness is also contagious. As healing is not linear, balance is definitely needed. You also need to be realistic in this situation. So try and journal this, okay? Use this as a journal prompt. Am I trying to change them and that which I cannot control? Again, that is, am I trying to change them and that which I cannot control? Alright, so you can also do mindful breathing. I would suggest, either the box breathing or even just counting to 10 before you respond. Before you send that 10-paragraph text or, comment on Reddit or whatever, just count and take a deep breath. Do your mindful breathing before you respond. Ground yourself, because you are really going to need to be grounded right now. Okay? This is going to be the pivotal point that determines whether or not, these beginnings in September, these manifestations that you're going to be gifted and awarded, you're kind of in a trial period right now, in a sense, or you're in a test period. And so it's like, what you do now is going to determine just how many new beginnings and blessings you're going to get in September, if that makes sense. So, just remember that, you know, both of you are feeling anxious right now. At the very least, try and give yourself some grace and the space to figure out where all of this anxiety on your part is stemming from. That is definitely where that journal prompt will come into play, okay? Am I trying to change them and that which I cannot control? Okay. So something to kind of like also help you cope with this is to focus on what you can control. In other words, you know, some mundane tasks such as doing the dishes or, you know, do a few push-ups or go for a quick jog or go take a bath and, you know, prepare that bath just as, you know, as you would for a loved one, okay? Like, when you are feeling that way and it feels like things are just completely out of control, the only thing that you have control over is yourself. And in that moment, you can choose whether, you know, you're going to spiral and, you know, reflect that which is outside of you, or if you're going to try and manage your inner world. Moving on to 111 and 1111, we are also going to bring up these numbers again later with another number, but we'll get to that. So 111, 1111. As we know, 1 is related to the sun, which is Leo's ruler, but this is exalted in Aries. So we have both of those energies. You have a ton of energy right now and the confidence of Leo as well as Aries' attitude to get it done, but you have no idea what exactly you are wanting to gear this fast and furious energy toward. Like, it definitely like feels like, you know, I want to go, do, but it's like you have no idea like where the fuck to even start. And, you know, I can totally understand that. This could definitely be adding to those feelings of anxiety for you, because it almost feels like, you know, when I got into this particular energy, it felt like I should be doing something, but I don't know what the fuck I need to be doing. So that's kind of the energy for that particular number this week. Take your time and really figure out what it is that your heart desires. Place this confidence in knowing you can attract such, okay? Find creative hobbies in the meantime to relax with. I also feel like, we'll get into that a little more later, but I also feel like it's important to know that, you know, you'll really be expanding on your creativity right now. And for some of you, if you are, you know, of you know, the feminine nature and you identify as such and you are not trying to get pregnant, be careful. If you are trying to get pregnant, I mean, you know, that bun in the oven is right around the corner. However, some of you are just birthing new ideas, and this just feels like, it feels amazing, it feels phenomenal. I'm here for it, and I'm excited to see what kind of inventions or ideas y'all are going to be throwing our way. Let's see. So I feel like you're also going to be adding a new element to your self-care routine. Whether that be like swimming or hiking, gardening, knitting, playing like cozy video games. This was really specific, but maybe like you get cozied up by a window and like, you know, it's raining and you've got a book and your tea, like, you know, that kind of academia, dark academia vibe. I love it. But lighten up a little bit and your days will start to feel a little brighter. And I feel like we get that with, you know, the sun energy here too. We just gotta lighten up a little bit and our days will start to get a little brighter. It's easy to focus on, you know, again, what isn't within our control, but, you know, When we start focusing on what we can control, things just fall into place and it just feels so much easier and like you can breathe. While it is important to stay up to date with news, please remember to use discernment and allow yourself moments in the day to admire what you have. So, as we all know, the world isn't perfect. There are definitely things that we could all work on. And personally, I feel like, most of the world could benefit from, a little bit of an EQ boost or, learning about psychology, going to therapy, things like that. And not to weaponize it either, but to, really understand how it is that others operate. That way, at the very least, we don't take it personally, or, there's more resilience that stems from such because you understand why the person's doing it, or, yeah. But anywho, just try and remember, the good stuff that you got. Admire what you have right now. Kind of go back to the roots again, like we were saying, and do your gratitude lists, and maybe take some time in the backyard to just breathe in the fresh air, water the plants, smoke a doobie, just have a good time. Getting back to your roots, that was another topic. Definitely. So, like, what I mean by going back to your roots is, any sort of like rituals or, ways of connecting with your guides that you started doing in the beginning. And I'm talking about like, when the very beginning, when you first started out, because I feel like you were a lot more active rather than just progressive, if that makes sense. Because like, I can tell that you know a lot. I can tell that, again, you're very up to date, and you do your research, like you do your best to understand, and you do your due diligence, and you know what you're dabbling in other words. However, I just want to say that, it is beautiful to consistently build on that knowledge, but don't forget your roots. Your guides, your deities, your ancestors would love to connect with you through rituals, through prayer, through, candle magic. Get back to your roots. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This is also another reminder. Your glow is even brighter when you drink water. Okay, so please, for the love of the sun, drink your water, because it is fucking hot. Summer is upon us. Do not dehydrate. Give yourself that water. Give yourself that love. You deserve it. Okay, I also feel like this is the last one for 11-11-111. I feel like you are seeing some results and you're feeling grateful. So like, say you're on like a weight loss journey, or say you're trying to build muscle, or say you're trying to gain weight, or say you're trying to beat a video game, or it just feels like there's like this kind of like, how would you say, just something really important to you that you've been working on and you're starting to see results. It could definitely be something of the vanity sort, and please don't feel bad for that, because when you look good, you feel good. I know all that. Just be grateful, because these results that you're seeing, it's not just, it's not just because, you're doing the work, and I hope you're proud of yourself. This could also relate to, how you've been doing the inner work, but being that, we're talking about Leo and Aries and the showy nature of those particular signs, I definitely got like kind of like looks wise. So I feel like you reached a goal, and I hope you're really proud of yourself. I also feel like some of you are going to be dyeing your hair soon, and I'm fucking here for it. The divine is here for it. Like, do it up. Alright, moving on. So, 1313. Alright, to recap. 1. This is related to the sun. Leo rules this. Aries exalts. 3. This is related to Jupiter. Jupiter governs Saturn. Pisces exalts. So when we look at Jupiter, immediately we could think of abundance, luck, expansion. Okay, and we can also think of major creative energy, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. You're expanding on your creative energy right now. And I know, again, you are in the energy of do, but I feel like right now it is time to kind of like reel it back and focus and dig in your noggin and figure out what it is that you want to do before you just do. Does that make sense? Because that is exactly where you will find the most abundance, the most luck, and the most expansion. So really think about that. When we look at Sagittarius, we can think of it this way. So Sagittarius brings to the material realm. However, with Pisces, this offers the dreams come true or miracle vibes. Okay, so those together, it's such a wild juxtaposition if you think about it, because it's the whole balancing practicality and spirituality again, right? Again, so Sagittarius brings to the material world, whereas Pisces offers the dreams come true and miracle vibes. So as above, so below. That's how you can see Jupiter. That is the planet of as above, so below. I feel like I also heard like the saying double back in my head. And so with that, I got that like you'll probably hit a stroke of luck that was meant to be yours but was pocketed by someone else. Okay, like I feel like there was like a lucky break that someone saw was for you before you even saw it, and they pocketed it. But it is on its way back ×3. Not only that, but you'll be able to see exactly who it was that pocketed it, and you know, whatever happens from there is up to you. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your life, but you know, all I can say is please don't jar them. After that, I heard 3 little witches in my head, and that immediately made me think of, I think it's called the Fairy Oracle, but there's those cards, the 3 witchy sisters and 2 little witches, and those combined. So I wanted to read the meanings from those particular cards. 3 witchy sisters. 3 witchy sisters. I think it's called the Fairy Oracle. Let's see. I don't have this oracle deck, so I'm Googling it. Let's see. Jasmine Beckett. Jasmine Beckett. So she's the artist. I wanted to try and find the Oracle book, but that is proving to be quite hard to find. Oracle book. there's no particular description that I can find for that card. Sorry that took a little bit. I should have just paused it, but whatever. But with 3 witchy sisters and 2 little witches, like, I feel like, especially since I was like, please don't jar them. I feel like you used to be in a group of 3. And, you know, this could totally have been like a coven or like, you know, a couple of friends, but like, you know, like you 3 were inseparable. And then I saw the 2 little witches in my head after, you know, 3 witchy sisters, right? And so I feel like it definitely has dwindled down, obviously, to 2 witches, and I feel like there is definitely some destiny swapping going on right now. And what I mean by that is, again, I feel like, so these 2 little witches, I feel like they were the ones who tried to pocket that stroke of luck, but it's going to come back to you times 3. Okay, you won't have to lift a finger. Let them tell on themselves. Alright, so moving on, we have 1212, and this is the one in which I wanted to bring up 111/1111 again, because we have the 1 there, and then 222. So 1, again, that is related to the sun. It is the ruler of Leo, exalts in Aries. 2, that is related to the moon. Cancer ruling, exalting in Taurus. Okay? So I feel like, you know, those 2 little witches, or however many, it feels like there are definitely 2 in particular, though. I feel like they feel like you're very self-indulgent, but they're projecting. I feel like a lot of people are me-focused in the wrong way. You know, there's definitely a difference between being self-aware and self-centered. So they think that you're a self-indulgent person, and this is literally because they see you, you know, celebrating your wins. They see you, you know, taking care of yourself. They see you doing things that they wish they could do, or that they even have the ability to do, but they're choosing not to do it, and so they want to attack you. It's just, it's ridiculous. But anyway, they feel like you're self-indulgent, and, you know, don't let them get into your noggin, and don't let them disrupt your self-care, okay? Or your self-preservation. I got the lyrics, I can feel your energy from 2 planets away, from Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe by Kendrick. I feel like y'all should check out that song, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe by Kendrick Lamar. I feel like you are just like very sensitive right now, and you can legit like feel people's emotions, their energy, like not even just when you walk into the room, but you can feel it like, you know, through the screen, through the phone. And it's, you know, it can either be like, you know, really awesome because, you know, people are telling on themselves essentially, and you're able to see what it is exactly that you know, kind of like proves that they're not necessarily someone with good intentions. But I feel like you can definitely feel their energy through the screen when you walk into the room. And you're just kind of like in this energy, or at least I hope you get into this energy, because I want to let you know you are not, you know, just some self-indulgent person, because you are, you know, focusing on yourself and, you know, reparenting yourself, or taking care of your emotional self or your spiritual self. That is not self-indulgent. I feel like it's actually quite the opposite, but, you know, what do I know? I also heard these lyrics. And still I try to lure you into my own hurricane. It's like you spot me trying from 1,000 miles away. I look down on you so deep down I know that we're the same. It's stupid thinking you would want to come play my game. Tell me what's wrong. And that's from Bad Girls by Blood Orange. So it's like, I feel like they are very, very privy to what they're doing. You know, because like, you know, with those first lyrics, and still I try to lure you into my own hurricane. So like they know what they're bringing. They know what they're bringing to the table, and still they try to lure you into it. It's like you spot me coming, or excuse me, it's like you spot me trying from 1,000 miles away. And I'm here to let you know that, yeah, you do. You do. You know, you can feel their energy from 2 planets away. It's stupid thinking... Oh, I look down on you so deep down I know that we're the same. It's stupid thinking you would want to come play my game. Tell me what's wrong. And there's those lines that really explain the displacement and the projection. I feel like that kind of explains itself. It is really stupid that, you know, they think that you would love to come play those games with them. And the whole tell me what's wrong thing, it's like, you know, they try and play these games, and then like if they get people caught up in that game, they're like, "Oh, what's wrong? Like why are you upset? You know, I thought we were playing this game." So it's like, you know, they know what they're doing, but it's like that weaponized incompetence type shit. I feel like you are also kind of realizing how far you've come since just a few years ago. Okay, especially in terms of like, you know, any sort of like emotional regulation. With this, I channeled the song Moods by Slender Bodies. Let me look up the lyrics for that. I got the chorus. I think it's like, let me see. Moods. My mood's dependent on you. Our mood's dependent on the sun. My mood's dependent on you. Our mood's dependent on the sun. So I feel like you are really coming to terms with, you know, what part you may have played in some things, as well as how to better master yourself. And when we master ourselves, you know, that is essentially one of the biggest cheat codes, especially since, you know, life is, in itself, it almost feels like a video game. But, yeah. I do want to let you know that you are highly intuitive right now, and you are definitely very emotionally intelligent. Your EQ is, in fact, growing. You are showing others where logic and emotion meet, where head and heart form a bond for the best to aid in discernment. I channeled another song called Magic by Trippy Nova. I also feel like you're doing a lot of like moon and sun magic, but when it came to that particular song, Magic by Trippy Nova, I also got the download that someone is especially captivated by your inner world. So like you're the yin to their yang, or vice versa. You lift the veil just enough for those to understand the hidden truths if they wish to do so. You are mastering your masculine and feminine energies. Look for mentors in both genders, especially if you're unsure of what a healthy feminine or masculine look like. I feel like that's really important. If you're single, just know you're attracting both chicas and chicos, whatever floats your boat. Okay, let's go on to 0707. Immediately I had channeled I Ran by Flock of Seagulls for this one in particular. I don't know, I feel like, you know, you just have that energy, and like people kind of, you know, are either attracted to it or they run from it and they're terrified by it. I don't know, I just feel like you're kind of intimidating. As you learn to transmute your bully's energy sent your way into works of creation, they'll eventually be trying to spy and copy you. So I feel like that's kind of important too. So when it comes to your creations and whatnot, you know, definitely kind of fly under the radar until you're ready to release it. Give those, you know, James Bond 007 vibes in which, you know, you remain mysterious until the project is to be unveiled. So with 0, we can definitely, again, just like last week or last reading, get that Ouroboros energy, that Hecate's will, Strophalos energy, new cycles or traditions, new major milestones, definitely that Fool energy. So with that came, each time this person messes with you, or those 2 little witches, you don't have to do anything. They'll make a fool of themselves and eventually leave you alone. I also channeled Glitter by 070 Shake. Primarily the opening lyrics, which I think, or let me pull those up. Let's see. Glitter 070 Shake. Did I want to get rich? Did I want to live? Did I want to bring what I got to the block like this? Like this? Did I even exist? Did I want to live? Did I want to bring what I got to the block like this? And the people that I met make it bigger, and I can promise you I'm doing better. And I can't leave you much, just this glitter. And I can't leave you much, just this glitter all over your body, all around your body. So when I thought of that, like, I feel like, you know, again, this is kind of you going deep within and just kind of reflecting on how things have been for you in the past, and, you know, just really realizing how far you have come and the major cycles that you have closed, the ones that, you know, definitely need to be, you know, the loose ends that need to be tied off, and the cycles that are in need of closing, as well as the new traditions or new cycles that you'd like to start, the new major milestones, the Fool energy, right? So when we look at 7, we can definitely remember that it is related to Neptune. Neptune rules Pisces, and it exalts in Cancer. So with 7 and O being here, this is a reminder to stay in the tune, to stay in tune with your spirituality. So, like, definitely balance practicality with spirituality, but again, your guides, your ancestors, your deities, etc. would appreciate more contact with you, whether that is through guided meditation, rituals, a little hello when you cleanse your spirit, praying, etc. I also want to let you know that you are very quick and graceful with it, especially when you're shutting down bully energy. And I feel like you kind of have always been this way, but I feel like you have imposter syndrome. Like, no, dude. Like, think back to when you were a kid and you were, you know, sticking up for people back then. No. You have always been like this. Okay? You've always called out the bully. And you ensured that those who, you know, felt like the underdog were taken care of. I also want to remind you that you do not have to prove yourself. So if other people are questioning this or trying to make a villain out of you, like, that's on them. If people want to understand, you know, they'll take the time to understand. They'll ask the questions to understand. here's an affirmation for you. The truth always comes to light, and they are out here telling on themselves. So right now, I definitely feel like green is important for you guys. When I think of this color, I think of gardening. I thought of nature, being a kitchen witch, compassion and the heart chakra, obviously ganja, forgiving yourself, what you may feel, you know, right now, especially like if like you feel broken within. Just know that like you're not broken. You may be a little bent, but forgive yourself for finding fault in what is beyond your control. I feel like someone really needed to hear that. I also heard green with envy, so people are definitely watching you. Just be careful. If you're doing sun and moon magic, you will especially be prosperous when it comes to money right now. So, you know, do your thing. Alright, let's go ahead and get into tarot. Let's see. I gotta find my affirmations. There we go. Alright. I cloak myself in a chiffon of pink. I ask my spirit guides, ancestors, deities, angels, and Mother Nature ground me in a protective glimmer, so I may think and so that I may shimmer. I am your oracle of the light, your seer in the dark. Please grant me that creative spark, and allow me to bask in your divine essence through this confusion and stark. I am you and you are me. Voice through me these messages you wish to speak, and blessed be. And so it'll be like that sometimes, so let's go ahead and get into it. I know a lot of people, you know, especially because, like, I feel like diagnosis of autism and ADHD and neurodivergence are definitely on the rise. And, you know, I feel like a lot of people have been misdiagnosed as, you know, bipolar, or, you know, it's like the whole, is it trauma, is it autism, or even like with BPD. All I want to say about that is how do I want to put it? I think I'll touch on that later. I think now is not the time. Alright, so I am going to be using the Modern Witch Tarot deck by Miss Lisa Sturley, or Sturl, one of those. Forgive me, Lisa. I am really sorry. Okay, so the first card that we got out here is Eight of Cups. Okay. So that's going to be our main energy. For overall energy, we have... Ooh, I had a feeling Seven of Swords was going to come out. I should have said that. But anyway, we have, for main energy, Eight of Cups. And for overall energy, we have King of Cups in reverse. Now, that person is just, you know, they're not cool. They're very emotionally manipulative. They can even, you know, be borderline emotionally abusive or severely emotionally abusive. But I feel like, you know, being that this is also layered on top of the Everything is Fine card, as well as Seven of Swords, you know, right behind Everything is Fine, I almost feel like there's just a lot of, you know, oh, that's just, you know, King of Cups being King of Cups. What can you do? You know, I feel like this is kind of going back to the whole, like, you know, are you trying to change them? Or are you trying to change what you cannot control? With the Eight of Cups, you can see that particular card as, you know, deciding that you are going to turn your back on those 8 cups that you just built up. And, you know, despite having all of this, you know, blood, sweat, tears, all of the shit that you put into these 8 cups, despite having all of that, you're willing to turn your back on that for something better, because you know there is better out there. And you're looking for your 9 of cups, right? And so we also have, for that overall energy on the other side, the Page of Wands and the 2 of Pentacles in reverse. I feel like this is kind of how many on the outside kind of portray you. You know, I feel like, you know, those who are seeking to misunderstand you just kind of like see you as this Page of Wands, just very young, you know, you have this wand, you don't know what to do with it, you're kind of, you know, they think that you're discovering your voice still, but I feel like you still, you know, it's not necessarily that you're discovering your voice, but rather you are finally voicing what has been on your mind forever. With the 2 of Pentacles out here, I feel like a lot of the things that you're going to be doing and saying are going to cause a lot of imbalance and a lot of disruption. You turning your back on things that, you know, aren't necessarily for, you know, your highest good, or that aren't for your best interest, and making those good judgment calls, especially with the everything is fine and the 7 of Swords, like those together, and then the King of Cups in reverse, like that just feels like gaslighting right there. Emotional gaslighting and invalidating, and, you know, especially if you were a victim of something. It's almost like, you know, the Darvo effect, in which they like swapped around and they're like, no, you're fine. Actually, I'm feeling this way because you did this and this and this and this. And that could totally be like, you know, again, projection and the displacement. Whoo-wee. That's hefty. Even so, I feel like, you know, this is a hefty reminder that, you know, in the 8 of Cups, you can see this woman as she's like going on her journey. She has a staff, and she is quite obviously not, you know, a young person, much like, you know, the Page of Wands card, which is a young person who also has a staff, and she's looking up at the staff as if she just got the staff, you know. Page of Wands is usually like princess or Prince of Wands energy, like, you know, like adolescent type energy or young adult. So I feel like that's kind of how they still see you, and they feel like, you know, they're providing you guidance and encouragement, but in all retrospect, it's, you know, a lot of gaslighting and a lot of like, you know, telling you that you are wrong for, you know, feeling the way you feel and thinking the way you do. And so I kind of feel like, you know, despite being scapegoated, you are kind of just willing to turn your back on all that and go along your own merry path and do your own thing, and you're okay with being the black sheep. And I think that's cool. So let's get some more cards and see what else it says. It's okay, guys. It's okay. It's okay. 1 second. Sorry about that. I had to calm my dogs down. Alright, so back to what we were saying. We got the card for main energy, the High Priestess. For overall energy from this pool, we got the 6 of Cups. We got the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. We got the Page of Swords in reverse. We got the Queen of Swords in reverse. And we have the 9 of Pentacles. Not quite the 9 of Cups that we were wanting, but that is okay because the 9 of Cups is the wish card, right? Whereas The Nine of Pentacles, I feel like that kind of shows the work that you have to put in and what you get out of that. So I really like the Nine of Pentacles card. And I feel like you are definitely Nine of Pentacles energy. And I really hope you see this about yourself. And like, you don't, again, that whole like, you're not broken. You know, just because something might be a little bent, it doesn't mean it's broken. And it doesn't mean, you know, there's no, you know, putting it back into place or, you know, making it better than ever. And that's the interesting thing about resilience. I feel like, you know, every time we bounce back better than ever. Resilience is such a wonderful thing to have. So with the High Priestess here for main energy, especially next to this Eight of Cups, like, you know, that whole bitch don't kill my vibe. I can feel your energy from 2 planets away. This High Priestess, she is on her laptop. Like, she ain't with the runaround. She ain't with the bullshit. You know, she ain't gonna bullshit you either. And I feel like, you know, despite the High Priestess being someone who is, you know, can kind of be, you know, kind of in a sense related to the Hermit, in the sense that, you know, she kind of keeps to herself, and she, for the most part, is there to see beyond the veil. And how she does that is by going within and not looking externally. And I think that you're very good at doing that. And I think that that kind of scares people. But I also feel like you're realizing that this is kind of like a superpower. Your resilience is kind of like a superpower as well. With the Six of Cups out here, I definitely feel like, you know, this is energy that kind of like looks down on you. Like how you can see in this card, it's a older individual with a cup trying to pass a cup down to this younger individual. And so it kind of feels like, you know, this person almost looks to you like, you know, again, like you're still a child, or, you know, you're naive, or you're gullible, or you don't know. And I feel like, you know, in essence, you really do know, and you're seeing things for what they are, and you're not falling for the illusion. And so you're turning your back on things with this Eight of Cups. Because with the High Priestess out here, you are not falling for the illusions. You're not, you know, you're seeing shit for what it is, and you're telling truths, monumental truths that, you know, we'll probably see the Tower out here later. But these truths are scaring people. I don't mean to, you know, scare you or bring any more anxiety, but we also have that Queen of Swords. You know, we got Nine of Pentacles, Queen of Swords in reverse, Page of Swords in reverse, and then Five of Pentacles in reverse. It's like what you're spilling, what you're mic dropping, the knowledge that you are sharing. I feel like a lot of people will probably, you know, unfortunately, again, try to villainize you, especially with the Queen of Swords in reverse out here and the Page of Swords in reverse. Like, I feel like, again, they see you as either young and naive and gullible, and like you just don't understand the system. Or with the Queen of Swords in reverse, they see you as, you know, I heard a dumb bitch. And so there might be someone out there who is like legit calling you a dumb bitch. But, you know, if the truth of what they're doing, and you holding up the mirror, you know, and, you know, no longer being the scapegoat, and, you know, shifting into that role of the truth teller, if that, you know, with the Five of Pentacles in reverse here, like, if that makes you lose people, it's not really a loss. In fact, with the Nine of Pentacles, it's a gain. Like, do you really want to spend time with people who look down on you because you believe in things that, you know, such as like human rights, or, you know, reproductive rights, or things of that nature? Do you want people trying to disagree with you about human rights? because I feel like those sort of things shouldn't even be up for debate, and I feel you probably feel that way too. So I kind of feel like, you know, especially with the era right now, like, you just are not falling for the okie doke, and like, you are totally okay with being alone. In the 9 of Pentacles card, like, we got that gardening. Okay, she is gardening, and she has her carrots, like, she's got her tomatoes, she's got a fucking bird on her hat. She don't need shit. This is a reminder that, like, you know, you got that. You got those things. Okay, and if the 10th pentacle happens to be their validation, like, you know, you may want to find a new pentacle, because, you know, you may never get that validation from them, and some people just choose to not see. Some people, you know, just would rather not understand because it makes things easier for them, such as, like, for instance, okay, if people are also, let's say it's the 2 little witches, right? If people are also benefiting off of those 2 little witches, okay, like financially or emotionally somehow, or, you know, spiritually, you know, maybe they're doing spell work. But anyway, if people are benefiting off of those 2 little witches, I feel like, ooh, there's the 9 of Cups. It just kind of like solidifies that they're gonna keep falling for the okie doke and keep going along just to get along, because they're, you know, still sucking at the teat, unfortunately, and it be that way. Okay, so we've got, for main energy, the 6 of Swords. For overall energy, we have the 9 of Cups. We have the Hierophant. We have the 7 of Pentacles and the 8 of Swords. Get those a little, there we go. The Hierophant is in reverse, and the 7 of Pentacles and the 8 of Swords are in reverse as well. We have the 2 of Pentacles in reverse again. We have the Empress in reverse. We have the 6 of Pentacles, and we have the 4 of Cups. So I feel like you are doing a lot of healing work, and I feel like as this person or those people observe you doing your healing work, or even, like, you know, notice you trying to, you know, move on to calmer waters or create a better environment, whether internally or externally, you know, focusing on what you can control, whether it be, like, you know, going to go take a bath, or, you know, going to go work out, or, you know, focusing on creativity through makeup or things of that nature, focusing on your creativity through your hair, just doing things for yourself. I feel like with the 6 of Pentacles and the 4 of Cups out here and the Empress in reverse, you could definitely do a lot more for yourself. Not only that, but I feel like they feel like you're doing too much and you are self-indulgent, and you are definitely the Empress in reverse, and, you know, you just, you know, take, never give. It's always take. But in reality, like, I feel like these people, they are taking and not realizing how much you give to the equation. Not only that, but with the 6 of Pentacles out here, if you look at it, like, from a broader perspective, the 6 of Pentacles is a card of charity. And so, with it being a card of charity, they think they're doing charity work for you. You know, in all retrospect, you know, I feel like you would love to get the fuck up out of there. We also have the 7 of Pentacles, the Hierophant in reverse, the 2 of Pentacles in reverse, and the 8 of Swords in reverse. I feel like this is just kind of like showing that, you know, those who are really quick to judge these practices specifically, and who are saying that you take too much when, you know, in reality you're giving quite a bit, and they're still asking for more. Is it that they're never satisfied, or is it that you actually owe them more? With the Hierophant out here, like, I feel like this person definitely, especially since it's in reverse, right? And then the Seven of Pentacles in reverse and the Eight of Swords in reverse, like, they have it in their head that, you know, they have some sort of benefactor or some sort of right to act this way with you, that they now have, you know, they've reached a certain milestone, whether this is like status or age or some sort of hierarchy, right? With this Hierophant in reverse, they feel like, you know, it's their way or the highway, essentially. And if you can't just fall in line, you know, like, what the fuck? With the Seven of Pentacles, you know, they didn't do anything spectacular, you know, to really earn that right. With the Eight of Swords, you know, they're consistently, they really believe this. With the Eight of Swords in reverse, like, in their head. Again, the Darvo effect. They truly believe that they're the victim. Two of Pentacles in reverse. They think they're the victim and they're swapping it. And they're like, no. Like, you are taking from me. No. I'm doing the good here. I'm giving the charity. With the Six of Swords out here, I do want to let you know, especially since we have Nine of Cups on the outside here, again referring to September, you are going to get major wish fulfillment in September. And you are going to be able to move on to calmer waters, and you are going to be able to focus on your healing without this annoying fucking energy here. This manipulative, weird energy. So the Ten of Wands in reverse just fell out. Like, the burden is theirs now. Okay? Like, again, with that Two of Pentacles fucking in reverse that keeps coming out, like, no. The Ten of Wands, the burden is theirs. It ain't yours anymore. It never was yours to begin with. Alright, so we got the Empress. And we got the Eight of Swords for overall, as well as the Chariot. We have the Devil in reverse, the Five of Swords, and the Three of Wands in reverse. I feel like you do get into your head sometimes, and you have that imposter syndrome in which, like, you're like, hey, like, am I really, like, self-centered? Am I really as self-indulgent with the Empress and the Eight of Swords out here? Am I really this self-indulgent? Am I really, you know, all of these things that, you know, this person is saying about me, you know, and kind of going back to that idea of coping in which, you know, you can put these thoughts on trial and really try and figure out if they're true or not by putting them on trial and asking yourself what it is that makes them true. You know, if there is something that, you know, is an element that you would like to change from there, cool, like, totally focus on that. But I'm also here to remind you that a lot of this is in your head, and I feel like you are one of the most, like, selfless individuals, you know, that has really graced this earth. And I say grace because not many people are very selfless, at least, you know, not without strings attached. And even then, that's not selflessness. I guess that's just altruism with strings attached. But I want to get you out of your head. And, you know, don't let them kill your vibe. You know, tell them in your head. You don't have to tell them directly, like, bitch, don't kill my vibe. Sometimes I also feel like, you know, you feel their energy that they project onto you. And that's kind of like the scary part, you know. That's the real spiritual part that isn't really talked about in psychology. When the energy gets projected or displaced onto you, if you're truly an empath, you're probably going to feel that and absorb that. And I want to remind you that your soul is not a sponge to absorb and cleanse other people's souls. That's not your job. Like, you do enough. You are very kind. You're very gentle. You're very motherly. You know, we have the Empress as main energy out here. You know, we have the High Priestess as main energy. Your main energy cards are all upright. Okay, other than the 10 of Wands. That one is in reverse, but that just, again, the burden is theirs. For other overall energy, we have the Chariot. We have the 7 of Wands in reverse. I almost didn't see that one. We have the 5 of Swords. We have the Devil in reverse. We have the 3 of Swords in reverse. I almost didn't see that one either. And we have the 3 of Wands. I accidentally bumped the 8 of Swords, and the Tower was right behind that. Gosh. The Tower is theirs. You know, like, do not, like, with the 8 of Swords and the Tower being behind it, like, do not manifest towers into your reality, especially if it's their tower. Let that tower be theirs. You know, let the burdens be theirs. That shit has nothing to do with you. And just because they want to manipulate you and brainwash you into thinking, you know, that you have some sort of obligation, again, referring to when we had that Hierophant in reverse previously. If they want to make you feel like you have some sort of obligation to them, even though they treat you like dirt, they treat you like scum, you know, when they do pay tribute to you, it's bullshit. You know, I just heard that song, High by the Beach by Lana Del Rey in my head, and in the chorus, like, she talks about wanting to be high by the beach. You know, obviously she's just trying to let go, but she also says, the truth is I never bought into your bullshit when you would pay tribute to me. And I feel like that is you. I feel like, you know, not only is that person's foundation crumbling, but your foundation is crumbling, because not only are you seeing how this person operates, but you're seeing how other people are going to operate because they are still attached to this person. And, you know, you're just ready with the 6 of Swords out here to move on to calmer waters, like, turn your back on the situation and just, you know, keep on keeping on. With the Chariot and the 7 of Wands in reverse and the 5 of Swords and the Devil in reverse, like, you are ready to move forward, and you're moving forward at full speed. And, you know, I heard that song, The Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. What does he say? Iron Maiden. Number of the Beast, right? That's the song. Is it this one? I left alone, my mind was blank, I needed time to think, to get the memories from my mind. What did I see? Can I believe that what I saw that night was real and not just fantasy? Just what I saw in my old dreams. Were they reflections of my warped mind staring back at me? 'Cause in my dreams, it's always there, the evil face that twists my mind and brings despair. I also heard, I'm coming back, I will return, and I'll possess your body and make you burn. I have the fire, I have the force, I have the power to make my evil take its course. I kind of feel like that's like, with the Devil in reverse out here, I feel like that's kind of the energy of that person battling with you. So, like, you're the Chariot, and, you know, with the 7 of Wands in reverse here, and then the 5 of Swords and the Devil in reverse here, they're the devil. They're the devil energy. And they're trying to cling to you. But we have the 7 of Wands, which is like, you know, and then the 5 of Swords. With the 5 of Swords, it's that, like, get yours by any means energy, right? And I feel like being that 5 of Swords, 7 of Wands, and 3 of Swords in reverse sandwich the devil, I feel like, because all of those together, I feel like this is essentially saying that, like, you know, this person was going to get theirs by any means, and what they wanted was essentially just another person to do their bidding, you know, another right-hand man. And I feel like with the Chariot here and the 7 of Wands facing you, because it's in reverse, facing you, you are protected from this. You are healing from this because you know that this is exactly how this person operates. With the Three of Wands in reverse, the Three of Swords in reverse, they see you healing. They see your ships coming in. Meanwhile, they wonder where the fuck theirs are. Where's their chariot? Well, they shouldn't have acted like a fucking devil. But anyway, with the devil in reverse here, you are breaking free of that energy. You are breaking those chains, those fucking karmic curses, generational ties. You are a generational curse breaker yourself. You are bringing the tower. You are the walking tower, and the karma is theirs. I'd be surprised if we didn't see the wheel out here. All right, let's get... Oh, I just split the deck and I got Five of Cups in reverse when I split it. And Five of Cups is definitely like a crying over spilled milk card. You know, with it in reverse, it's like, you know, the diviner, like, we understand that, you know, this hurts and it's not fun for either party and that you are both anxious, but you can't let that stop you, and you can't let that, you know, keep you in your head. You gotta keep going, and, you know, you have to accept that you can't change people. I had posted the other day, and I had seen this from Patrick T, and I don't know where he got it from, but it was along the lines of, because I just kind of paraphrased what he had said, but it was along the lines of, like, you know, baby girl, like, his mama already changed his diapers, you cannot change that man. Yeah, it's kind of like that realization kind of dawning on you, right? And that can hurt. And I understand that feeling wholeheartedly, and I'm here for you. I went ahead and did one last pull, and I feel like this is kind of like a contrast, and I'll explain that. So for main energy for this last pull, we have the Star in reverse, we have the Ten of Cups in reverse, and we have the Nine of Swords in reverse. For overall energy, we have Eight of Swords. We have three of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Six of Cups. We have the Ace of Swords, and we have the Chariot in reverse. Don't let yourself, you know, don't stunt your growth. Don't, you know, allow your thoughts to be clouded when you know what's going on and you see clearly, but you know, just for the sake of having someone in your life still, you know, with the Star in reverse here, I feel like this is an omen or even a warning of like what would come if you chose to stay on this particular path. Okay? So the Eight of Cups is telling you that you have two different paths that you can walk. Okay? You can either turn back or you can continue. If you go forward, you'll be in the energy of the High Priestess, the Six of Swords, and the Empress. But if you turn back, you'll be in the energy of the Star reverse, the Ten of Cups reverse, and the Nine of Swords reverse. With the Star in reverse and the Ten of Cups reverse and the Nine of Swords reversed, I just feel this immense anxiety. I feel like you'd be playing small. I feel like you'd be consistently, you know, watering something that will never water you, that will consistently drain you. And I feel like you just won't have that Ten of Cups happy ending that you're looking for. I'm not saying that anything could ever be perfect, but holy shit is not supposed to be this hard. If it's this hard, it's because someone's not doing the work. And I know it's not you. I know you're doing the work. They're not doing the work. With the Star in reverse here, like, and then the Ten of Cups in reverse and the Nine of Swords, like, you would be prolonging your healing journey. You would be essentially holding yourself back from, again, like we said, there are going to be those new beginnings in September. That's either going to be this year or next year. You would be holding yourself back from those new beginnings that you deserve, that would bring you the ultimate wish fulfillment, that would bring you your 9 of Pentacles and eventually your 10 of Pentacles and your 10 of Cups. If you could learn how to find the joy in life again and embrace it and accept that, and not accept breadcrumbs, and not accept, not tolerate people who act this way, who, treat others this way, who everything has a string attached and they're just the puppeteer, right? Like, you're not here to be someone's puppet, friend. Drop the burden, drop the strings. With the 8 of Swords and the 3 of Pentacles and the 6 of Cups, again, like, I feel like it's like that person kind of like feeling they're above you, in the sense that, with the Pentacles, like, I feel like this is kind of like relating to that financial tie I was talking about, in which, like, it can seem like you two are working together on a financial standing. So this could be like, you both like pitch in for rent, or, this could be a boss and you could be, the employee, or this could be, a grandparent and you're the grandchild. So like with the 6 of Cups and the 3 of Pentacles in reverse and the 8 of Swords, not only are they seeing you this way and treating you this way, but you see yourself this way and you treat yourself this way as time goes on, well in their energy. You accept that. We accept the love that we think we deserve. And instead of, dropping those wands on their doorstep where they belong, those people, oh my gosh, it was so funny. Side note, side quest. We have some new neighbors and they have a weenie dog, and this weenie dog like broke through the fence, and he likes to come over into our yard and go poo-poo and wander around. And the first time I caught him was because Lulu Bells was at the door and she was like whining, and I was like, what's going on? And I go to the back door, and it's a glass door so I can see through it, and I see the little neighbor weenie dog, and he makes eye contact with all of us, and he just dookies on the fucking lawn. And it's like, dude, I felt like that was like the universe showing me like how people, will take the collective's energy and just kind of like try and dominate it in any way possible. And they'll bring 50 bags, just like Brittany, the Cosmic Intuitive, says. They will bring 50 bags of dog shit to your doorstep, expecting you to be like, yeah, that's my dog shit. I'll take care of that. I'll take care of that. Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Long story short, I'm gonna, have my fiance talk to them about it. I find it kind of funny, actually. I don't mind that little guy comes over here. But I think it's more so the metaphor that we need to focus on, in which, like, I don't want you to be that person who, expects 50 bags of dog shit on their doorstep and then accepts it and thanks the other person for it. Like, no. We have that energy of 10 of Wands in reverse. I feel like I am going to definitely, like, make that the star of the show in terms of thumbnails and title. But let's get out of this 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords energy. Like, you do not need to be all up in your noggin about this shit. Like, they lied. They're lying to you. They are lying to you. They were wrong. And while they cannot admit they are wrong, they were wrong. Okay? I feel like if, with the Chariot in reverse out here and the Ace of Swords out here, pay attention to your car. Okay? Because there might be something that, it could either be weaponized incompetence, or it could be something that they did to sabotage, or it could be something that they didn't realize that they did, but, could have fucked up on your car. So please just look at your car. Look at your car. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up there, because it just be that way. Alright. By all that is divine, I will now close and exit this reading. Thank you for illuminating the path and for not retreating. Our session has now come to an end. This advice I shall not bend. Please be safe on our path and keep me safe in the aftermath. Blessed be. And so it be like that sometimes. This was a hefty reading, and like, you know, I know that I have a lot of people who used to fawn a lot, you know, the whole fight, flight, fawn or freeze type deal. I have a lot of people here who used to fawn or used to definitely people please and, you know, try and go along to get along and, you know, keep the peace. A lot of peacekeepers here. But you don't have to be that anymore. You don't have to avoid rocking the boat because the boat has always been the boat. You can rock the boat if you want to, or you could just get your own boat and sail away. It's up to you. Or you can stay in that paddle boat with everybody and paddle along and hope you reach your destination. But in the end, it's all up to you, and that's beautiful. Anyway, blessed be. Catch y'all later.